Prince Harry and Meghan Markle recently went on a surprise trip to a country called Jordan. They told the world it was a humanitarian visit to help people in need. But many experts are calling it a fake royal tour because they do not work for the king anymore. They arrived with a big line of police cars and their own camera crew to film every move. They changed their outfits many times to look perfect for the photos. Their team sent the exact same stories to all the big magazines at once to make sure everyone was talking about them. It looked like they were trying to act like they were still very important royal leaders, which makes the Windsors back in England feel very uneasy. Jordan is a very special place for the royal family. Princess Catherine, who is also called Kate, actually grew up there when she was a little girl. Her father worked there for a few years, and it is a place she loves very much. Queen Rania of Jordan is also a very close friend to William and Kate. She even went to their big wedding. Prince William had just finished a visit to a nearby country right before Harry and Meghan arrived, but then something happened that shocked everyone. Queen Rania was in her own country, but she did not meet with Harry and Meghan at all. She stayed in her palace and did not give them a single minute of her time. This silence was a big message. The trip was planned to last for 2 days. They wanted it to look just like an official visit from a prince and princess. They visited camps for people who had to leave their homes because of war. They went to a hospital and had meetings with important people who help others. On paper, it looked like they were doing something very kind and helpful. They wanted the world to see them as heroes who care about people who are suffering. But the moment you start looking at the small details, the whole thing starts to look like a big production made for television. It felt more like a movie than a real trip to help people. Harry and Meghan's team were very careful about the words they used. They kept calling the trip a visit and never used the word tour. This is because a royal tour is something only working members of the king's family can do. A tour means you are representing the crown and the country. Harry and Meghan chose to quit that job a few years ago. Even their own team knows that they do not have the right to use that word anymore. They wanted to look like royals without actually being royals. They are trying to find a middle ground that the Windsors in England do not think is fair. Even though they didn't call it a tour, it looked exactly like one. They didn't arrive quietly or try to stay out of the way. They came in with police guards and official escorts. They sat at big tables with government leaders. It was not a private trip at all. It was a giant operation with many people working behind the scenes. They went to many different locations over 2 days. Every single moment was caught on camera from the best possible angle to make them look good. People are asking if this was really about helping people or if it was just a big show for their brand. Visiting refugee camps is a very kind thing to do. Talking to children who have been through scary times is important, but there is a big difference between really doing the work and just acting like you are doing it for the cameras. The difference is in the tiny details. You can see it when the outfits are perfectly picked and the team calls the reporters before the plane even touches the ground. This trip was managed by a team from thousands of miles away to make sure the world saw a specific version of Harry and Meghan. It was a carefully made production. Before Harry and Meghan even landed in Jordan, the story was already being told. Their team had already decided how they wanted the world to feel. The information was not coming from the charity groups or the people on the ground. It was coming from Harry and Meghan's own PR people. This shows that the trip was more about their image than the actual humanitarian work. They wanted to control the message from the very start. This kind of planning makes people wonder if the feelings they showed in the photos were actually real. 2 people who said they wanted a private life are now showing up in a foreign country with a big motorcade. They said the royal institution was making them feel trapped, but now they are using all the royal tools to look important. They get the police escort and the fancy meetings, but they don't have the real power that comes with the job. They call it a humble visit so nobody can tell them they are wrong, but it looks exactly like the life they said they wanted to leave behind. It is a very strange situation that is causing a lot of talk. There are many countries on the map, but Harry and Meghan chose Jordan. This is a very big detail that many people missed. Jordan is not just a random place. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has a very deep connection to it. She spent a large part of her childhood living in the city of Amman. It is a place that shaped who she is today. Prince William has also spoken about how much Jordan means to his wife. It is a very personal place for the Windsors. By picking Jordan, Harry and Meghan were stepping onto ground that belongs to Kate's history. The timing of this trip was also very interesting. Prince William had just finished a very important visit to Saudi Arabia in the same region. Only a few days after he finished his work, Harry and Meghan announced their own trip to Jordan. They went to the exact same part of the world right after William was there. They chose the country that is most special to William's wife. This does not seem like an accident. In the world of the royal family, timing is everything. It looks like they wanted to pull the attention away from William's serious work. The team that works for Harry and Meghan does not do things by mistake. Everything they do is planned for a reason. Every location they pick and every photo they release is calculated to have the most impact. The idea that they just happened to land in Jordan right after William's trip is very hard to believe. It shows a pattern where they try to compete with the other royals for attention. This makes the tension between the brothers and their wives even worse. It feels like a quiet battle for the spotlight. Catherine has a real and genuine connection to Jordan. It is part of her family history, but Meghan chose to land there with a full camera crew and a big team. She went to the same kinds of places and met the same kinds of people that Kate would meet. She did not go because she has a history there. She went because she knew the location would make for good news stories. It felt like she was trying to copy Kate's life. This makes the relationship between the two families feel even more broken and sad. King Abdullah and Queen Rania were in Jordan the whole time Harry and Meghan were visiting. They knew exactly who was in their country and why they were there, but they made a very strong choice. They decided not to meet them. There was no visit to the royal palace. There were no official greetings. There was only silence. For a king and queen, not meeting someone who is visiting your country is a very big snub. It shows that they do not see Harry and Meghan as part of the official royal group anymore. Meghan really needed a photo with Queen Rania. Queen Rania is one of the most respected queens in the world. A photo of them standing together would have helped Meghan's brand a lot. It would have told the world that she still belongs in those high royal circles. It would have given her credibility that she is losing. But Queen Rania said no by simply not being there. In the world of kings and queens, being absent is a very loud way of speaking. It was a clear signal that Rania stands with William and Kate. The people watching this story saw it very clearly. One person wrote that at least one queen knows how to handle this situation. Queen Rania's choice to stay away was a signal about who she supports. It shows that real royalty does not need to chase cameras or plan for the best angles. Real royalty just exists. The gap between what Meghan is trying to look like and what Queen Rania actually is has never been easier to see. Meghan needed that photo to look important, but she did not get it. There is a pattern to this trip that is hard to ignore. It was more than just a visit to help people. It was a set of moments made to look like something else. Meghan sat at a hospital bed and held the hand of a sick girl. This looked exactly like the famous photos of Princess Diana. Diana was loved for being kind to people who were suffering. Meghan knows this history very well. She wanted her photos to make people think of Diana. She was trying to use the memory of Harry's mother to make herself look better. Later, Meghan played soccer with some children at a refugee camp. She was laughing and having fun for the cameras. But very quickly, people on the internet found photos of Catherine doing the exact same thing a few years ago. It was the same pose and the same kind of activity. It showed that Meghan was trying to act just like a princess on a royal tour. It made people feel very uncomfortable. You can copy a photo, but you cannot copy the real life and the real duty that Kate has. The internet showed the world the truth. The problem is not that Meghan is doing nice things. Helping people is always good. The problem is the gap between the real action and the way it is sold to the public. There is a difference between being really moved by someone's pain and making sure a camera is there to see it. Catherine does not have to try to look like a princess because she is one. She does her work without a big PR team telling everyone what to think. Meghan is trying to recreate something that she walked away from, and it feels fake to many people. There is a part of this story that the news did not talk about enough. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, is 80 years old and very sick. He just had to have his leg taken off in a hospital. He is all alone on the other side of the world. While Meghan was in Jordan holding hands with strangers for the cameras, her own father was suffering by himself. This makes many people feel very sad. They wonder why she can fly to Jordan to help strangers, but she will not fly to help her own father, who is in a lot of pain. Prince Harry was even photographed holding a prosthetic leg during the trip. He looked very kind and caring in the photo, but at the same time, his own father-in-law is about to need a leg like that. Harry has not seen or talked to the man in years. The internet noticed this right away. They said it was very strange to show compassion for strangers while ignoring your own family. This gets to the heart of why the trip felt so wrong to many people. Real kindness should start at home with your own family. Real compassion is not something you just turn on for a photo. You cannot be kind for the cameras and then ignore the people closest to you. People are smart enough to see when a story does not add up. They felt the disconnect between the hospital visit and the sick father in the Philippines. You cannot look moved by a stranger's pain while your own father is going through a surgery all alone. These two things cannot exist together without people noticing. The gap in the story Harry and Meghan tell is very wide. The Jordanian royal family is very close to the Windsors in England. Before Harry and Meghan arrived, their team told everyone that the trip had nothing to do with the king. They said it was a private mission. But then the British ambassador to Jordan welcomed them on camera and took them to his official house. They even posted about it on their own website. This shows that they are still using their royal connections to get what they want. They want to be independent, but they still want the help of the British government. Their team said the trip had nothing to do with the palace, but then they showed off their visit to the ambassador's home. Both of those things cannot be true at the same time. Harry and Meghan walked away with a welcome that looked very official. They wanted the world to think they are still part of the establishment. They are using their titles to open doors that would otherwise be closed to them. This is the uncomfortable truth behind the trip. They are still leaning on the family they said they wanted to leave. As long as Harry keeps his royal title, this will keep happening. Ambassadors will feel like they have to welcome him. Organizations will give him a seat at the table because of his name and history. The title carries a lot of weight that Harry did not earn on his own. It comes from the institution of the monarchy. Even if they move to the other side of the world, the title goes with them. They are using that title to get access and credibility. This is a big problem for the king and the rest of the family in London. If you stop looking at the PR and just look at Harry, you will see something sad. People who have followed him for years say he looks like a completely different person now. He looks properly exhausted in the photos from Jordan. It is not just the kind of tired you get from a long trip. It is the kind of tired that lives in your face when you have been carrying a heavy weight for a long time. He looks drained and he looks like he has not slept well in a very long time. When the cameras were on him, Harry could pull himself together and smile. He could look like he was happy to be there. The moments in between were very different. When he didn't think anyone was looking, his face went back to looking sad and hollow. He looks like a man who has no idea how he ended up in this position. He used to be full of energy and humor, but that version of Harry is gone. It is very hard to watch a man who seems so lost in his own life. People are noticing the before and after of Prince Harry. The Harry who used to move through the world with confidence and joy is not in these photos. He wanted to leave the palace to find freedom. But the life he has now does not look like freedom. It looks like he is just standing behind his wife and watching her manage the cameras. He seems to be carrying a lot of anger and tension. It is hard not to wonder if this is really the life he thought he was choosing when he left his family. The big picture is that the Windsors are under a lot of pressure right now. King Charles has not been looking well lately. He is dealing with a serious health problem but is still trying to do his job. The family is trying to look stable while things are very hard behind the scenes. In the middle of all this, Harry and Meghan flew to Jordan with a camera crew. They planned every detail to get as much attention as possible. They chose a place that is very special to the rest of the family. King Charles has said nothing about the trip. This silence is very important. Some people think he still hopes that Harry will come home one day. He does not want to do anything that cannot be fixed, but Prince William is also watching. William knows exactly what Jordan means to his wife. He has watched his wife be copied and shadowed for years. William does not have the same hope that his father has. He is tired of the games and the attention-seeking. The big question is how much longer this can go on. Queen Rania showed the world what real dignity looks like. She was in her own country and her own home, but she chose not to meet Meghan Markle. She did not use anger or a big statement. She just used her absence. She understood exactly what a photo would have meant for Meghan's brand, and she said no. That choice said more than any interview ever could. Queen Rania was there all week, and Meghan never got that photo. That silence was the most important part of the whole story.